All right. Hello, everyone. uh, Internship program 2015, 2016. Right. So before we start the actual work, let's talk about why we do internship programs and has this really worked in the past. Right? I started this picture. What does this mean? Have you guys changed your Facebook profile to this? Does anyone recognize what this is? Right. So, yeah. So, this is how you say I support gay marriages. Right? And reason I got this picture here, this guy is an intern. Facebook interns, two interns from Facebook built this feature, and this got very, very popular. And pretty much everyone applied this filter on top of their Facebook profile. Right? So so the point is, there are really good stuff made by interns if the internship program is done right. And let's go to another example. Monica was a White House intern in 1995. And if the internship was done not so right, things can go wrong as well. So that's the message. Right? So when we talk about an internship, what are the keywords that we usually have come across? Number one, underpaid. Number two, overworked. People who bring coffee, things like that. That's just the old viewpoint of our internship. And people who went to college in 1980s never did an internship program. And now it's increasingly important people go through an internship program, learn what you need to know, prepare yourself for a job, and get hired. In the Silicon Valley, good people who get hired as entry levels of job for an entry job, they might have one or two internships done during their summers, not just one, probably two. So it's so important. What do we gain out of this? Basically, you get a very good chance. You get a paid chance. Yes, it's underpaid. That's true. You get a chance to explore your career options. Now, when you were a kid, you like to become a pilot or a firefighter or a dancer or whatever. But when you really try it out, then you figure it out. Okay, this is not for me. Right? I'm not the right material for that. And then you realize my talent or what I want to do is something else. So internships gives you that option. Try yourself. Maybe you are not a good engineer. Maybe you are a good artist. Then you sort of capitalize on that skill. Right? And that's a very good experience a university cannot offer you at any cost. That's only, you will realize that when you get to work in the real world. Few other things are a test drive for your career plan. You can test drive, you can do things and then figure it out what that is. Gain confidence. Right? Whether I learn my theories in the university, but can I actually do something in an environment where noisy managers to nagging customers. I mean, I'm not talking about these guys. I'm just talking about in general. In a completely different environment, are you proven? Are you ready to do things like that? So, when we started the internship, we had a very glamorous internship back in the days called a 6-month startup. That was very that was successful in terms of giving exposure to individuals, getting popularity among the university. But this year, the focus is completely different. Very less glamour, but we have done something really good on the morale side, like with a high morale project. Right? You will hear about that from the rest of the crowd, rest of the presenters when they come here. So having said that, let me hand over to Manjula, who will give a self intro to him as well. But the domain he's in is not pure business, but it's a business that helps the ecosystem that we live in, that helps underprivileged students to continue their education, right? Okay, I give you one.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I hope you all had a great day, a great week so far. And thanks, Anjana, for the kind introduction. My name is Manjula Disanayaka. I'm the founding director of Educate Lanka. Before I go deeper into what we do, etc., let me first of all say that I'm greatly honored to be here, be part of a young organization that is setting an example in Sri Lanka as well as globally. To have been met several of your employees and staff, knowing what level of people they are, what caliber of people they are, and the culture within the organization. It's a great honor to have been collaborating with Cake Lab so far, and really thinking of our future collaboration together as well. I wanted to thank Mani, who initiated our introduction initially, and Shanil, Rasika, Anjana, the marketing team, the CSR team, finally the developers and the designers and the interns, you guys. It's been a great 6-month journey so far, and we have a long way to go. And just a great honor to be part of this organization and have this collaboration. So about Educate Lanka, before we go into describing what it is and what we are planning on doing in the future, I think it will be interesting if I give a little bit of background of myself and where I came from, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Sorry. I forgot to introduce my colleagues, Danusha Amarasinghe, our country coordinator, and Zuleika, our communications coordinator. There are a few other staff. We are based in Kandy mainly. So wanted to thank them for being here as well. So my story, I was born and raised in Kandy, Sri Lanka. I went to Trinity College. I did my A-levels, and like most of others, I decided to leave the country for my higher education. It was not due to any dire circumstances. It was just that I was privileged enough that my parents were able to send me abroad. And that's something that I was always wanted to do. So at the age of 19, I went to the United States to pursue my undergraduate studies. I started studying finance because I wanted to be an investment banker, wanted to make a lot of money, have a great life, and one day perhaps I would return to Sri Lanka. That was my goal at that time. So I did that. I started studying finance. I was exposed to the Sri Lankan community in DC. I was engaged in some community service events, etc. And then during my final semester, something tragic for all of us happened, which was in December 2004 when the tsunami struck Sri Lanka. At this time, we were all shocked, especially because we were there and we were helpless. And although I was from Kandy, everyone knew someone who was affected by this. So immediately we got together the community. We raised donations to send back. But my roommate and I, another Sri Lankan, decided we wanted to do something more. So we started a fundraising campaign to raise a fund of 2 million rupees to rebuild a village in Trincomalee. We did that, and this was the first time that for me and also for the rest of the Sri Lankans in DC to give back to Sri Lanka, something to give back since we got there. That experience really stayed with me and the rest of us. And I went to my dream job in banking. A couple of years later, that thought still was in me and the rest of us as well. And at that time, we knew that we can do a lot from there with a little bit of an effort. Because we saw during the tsunami how much we were able to do, how much money we were able to give, how much of an impact we were able to have. So at this time, my mother, who's a retired teacher, who's been bugging me all these years with requests that she came across these students in her community who were struggling to continue education and wanted some additional funding. And all this time, I would pool the funds from our housemates and friends and send them to those students through my mother. So we knew that there was this problem that exists. A lot of my classmates, even not a lot, a few of them, although they were from privileged backgrounds, because of the circumstances have changed, they were struggling to continue, even at Trinity. So I knew personally how students and my colleagues have struggled because of a little bit of money that we could have easily given. So with this thought emerged the idea for Educate Lanka. The two reasons: one is the need on the ground, where students who have a great potential, who are highly motivated, but just because of their financial circumstances, they were not able to proceed. And on the other side, there was these millions of Sri Lankans outside of Sri Lanka who are either in higher education or in professional careers, who could contribute back to Sri Lanka and who are actually willing and engaged and wanting to contribute back. We saw that firsthand during the tsunami, but they didn't have a platform to give back. So we thought, why not connect these together? Why not build a platform so that the needs on the ground can be addressed through our platform by utilizing these Sri Lankans and others who wanted to contribute back. So that's how we started Educate Lanka. We built this online platform where we identify students on the ground, put their profiles online, have a very transparent system where that anyone around the world could select a student, provide that funding, and make sure that the student is helped until they graduate from their higher education. So that's how we started. And when we started back in 2008, this was all a side project for us. I was doing my banking job, and then 2 years later, I had a pretty life-threatening car accident in Sri Lanka. And this was, if tsunami was one of the sort of a life-changing event for a lot of us, this personal incident was another event for me personally. I was saved by a bystander who took me to the hospital. I spent 3 weeks in Kegol General Hospital. I had my bowels removed. I have 48 stitches, but I survived. And during the when I was laying on the hospital bed, I started thinking, what if that was my last day on this planet? Was I happy? Strangely, things that came to my mind was not my job or the money or things that I wanted to do in the future, but it was about the victims of the tsunami, the students that I was able to help. So that actually changed my perspective of life. I realized at that time that what matters was not what I accumulate, what the material things that I would accumulate, but it was about what I would leave behind for others. Because at that time, the things that I recall was that the people that I've helped or things that I would have left behind at that time. So I came back to the States. I continued my investment banking job for the next 3 years while working on Educate Lanka on the side. I got more and more interested in Educate Lanka. I spent at the office till midnight. From 6 to midnight, I was working on Educate Lanka. And soon I realized that finance is not my field and my passion is no longer there. But I wanted to commit my life to give opportunities to other people, and to see whether I can make a career out of that. So in 2010, I quit my job. I went to Boston to study, pursue my higher education in master's degree in international development and social entrepreneurship. So at this time, social entrepreneurship was a emerging sort of a career for a lot of people in the States. And I wanted to really explore whether Educate Lanka, what we started, really has legs to continue as a sustainable organization. Because when we started it, it was just a side project. We had no intention of making it an organization. The 2 years that I spent at Tufts, we went through a series of business plan competitions. I was able to pitch Educate Lanka. We won some of those business plan competitions at Harvard, at Tufts, at MIT. Towards the end of it, I really had confidence that this could actually be an option for me to think of as my career after my higher studies. So in 2012, I took the step to basically not a popular choice among my parents or my fiance at that time, but I took it. I decided to take Educate Lanka full time and to build the organization from scratch and reinvent our model. So that's it's been 3 years since, and we've come a long way. We have now staff in Sri Lanka. We have a larger network of liaison officers around the country. We have great partners, and we have exciting things planned for the future. So that's basically my story, how I got here, and why I do what I do, and why we all do what we do at Educate Lanka. So let's take a look at, from a technical side, why we do what we do. I'll let you read this statement for a second. And I'm sure a lot of you guys agree, and this is from UNICEF country report in 2013. Family poverty is the primary demand-side reason for children and students to drop out of school or for their non-participation in education. But I'm sure a lot of you would have thought about this, especially non-Sri Lankans who just know Sri Lanka has a universal education system, would always question me on this. Isn't public education free in Sri Lanka? Technically, yes, but practically, I'm sure all of you know it is not. Why do I say this? Because of this. And I'm sure all of you here have gone through this. The expenses for private tuition, transportation, stationery, clothing, books, boarding, school supplies, all these add up. And there are statistics to back this. There are research that is being done. But this is the reality. If you can't afford these, you are not able to compete on a level playing field with the rest of your colleagues. And our education system is created such that if you can't compete with your colleagues at the same level, your chances of advancing is limited. And take a look at this. Every year, 140,000 students in Sri Lanka complete their education without job-related skills. This is a World Bank report in 2014. Now imagine what this would do to an economy such as Sri Lanka, who's striving to go into a middle income level country. And I'm sure a lot of personnel here in HR or leadership would agree with this. And this is mainly because of the shortcomings of our education system. They are not prepared for practical and professional side and highly focused on theoretical and academic. And this is exactly why the programs such as the internship program at Cake Labs is highly important. So what did we do to address this? We have two models. Obviously, we started with the global model, where we have this technology platform and a global network where we are able to provide the first step of financial access to these students so that so that family poverty doesn't become a barrier for them to continue and remain in education. But more importantly, or equally importantly, the second aspect that we have been focusing over the last 2 to 3 years is the local model. Because while we remain with these students for on average of 8 to 10 years, we realize that we can add more value than just providing them the funding. This is where the mentoring, the skills development, and professional development, and exposure to outside world and connections to employment come into place. And this is where the internship programs here or skills development programs really make a difference in these students. So together with these two models, we have a very unparalleled approach to impact. We use technology as well as we use the community participation, which is highly important in a field such as education, because you can't just give money to someone and expect them to be educated and really become a good citizen or a leader in the country. We've come a long way over the last 7 to 8 years. Over 900 students have been going through our program. We have 450 active students currently in all 9 provinces, from all backgrounds, from all ethnicities. Over 3,000 school years, over $400,000 in scholarship funding. And these are 100% transfers of scholarships from sponsors directly to the students, and over 350 graduates. But more importantly, each of those 900 have unique stories, and that's where our real impact is. So before I conclude, let me share you a couple of stories about having what it means to have an opportunity in life, and how those would affect it in each of those 900 students that we have supported. So this is Udayangani, one of our first students in Kandy. She came to us in 2007. She was one of the 20 initial students. She was in 10th grade, and she wanted to pursue her studies in English medium. So she was struggling to go for private tuition because her teachers at the school she was not able to get a quality education in English medium at her school. So she came to us, and we supported her, and now after 8 years almost, she's ready to graduate as a linguist in Mandarin and Hindi and in English. And just last year she got a scholarship to China to study and enhance her Mandarin skills for 6 months. So this is a real genuine real success story of one of our students who have been with us for such a long time and gone through the entire period of funding and support from Educate Lanka. So if Udayangani's story is about receiving an opportunity, I wanted to share Inoka's story, which is about missing an opportunity. Inoka is from Mana. She was in grade 8 when she applied in 2014 to us. And during our normal application process, what we do is we get these applications through the liaisons. Danu reviews them, and I do the final reviews, and we make a mutual decision on accepting them into our program, depending on the applications. It was a competitive application process. We were planning on taking 70 students or so. We probably had about 100 applications. And Inoka's one was pretty basic, but she was from Mana, of course a different context from the rest of the country. And I remember she was adopted because her mother couldn't support 4 children. So she was given to a convent. And in her essay, I remember that she had said her life goal is to become a teacher after completing her A-levels. So she didn't really stand out among the applications. But during our final process, I started reading all of these again. And I thought that maybe perhaps this is the opportunity that she wants to succeed in life. That because I knew after reading the application that no one in her life has probably believed in her or given her an opportunity. So I went back, we approved it, and 2 weeks later, Danu was in Mana for the distributions. And I got a phone call in DC when I was there at 3 in the morning from Danu. I still recall that, and Danu broke the news of that Inoka had committed an apparent suicide. I, of course, couldn't sleep the rest of the night. I started thinking, what if that she knew that she was selected to the program? What if that she knew that someone else was believing in her? And I don't know the outcome, I don't even know the reason for her suicide. But that's a missed opportunity, and I will never forget that, because what if that we were able to deliver that message 2 weeks ago? So this is the reality. This is what we work with on a day-to-day basis, and we are privileged to have supported all these students, and there are more that are out there, and this is why these partnerships are also important, because this would enable us to really expand and really be effective in what we would deliver to the community, to the country, so that in 20 years, in 50 years, we would have a generation of leaders and citizens who are globally minded, who are with compassion and empathic, and because that's what we lack in our current society. We don't have empathic leaders. We don't have compassionate leaders. We don't have leaders who would set an example for the next generation. But we want to change that, and that change won't happen overnight. It'll take generations, but we want to plant the seed now, and this is why partnerships such as these are very important. And I wanted to conclude with thanking Cake Labs for the opportunities, and a partnership with impact. This is really what we feel our partnership is, because we feel, we've talked to a lot of other partners and we already have other partners, but you realize, you can see the genuine interest and the commitment in the people and the organization when you're working with them. And we strongly feel that Cake Labs is such a partner, and we are truly honored and privileged. And there will be more opportunities for all of you to participate beyond the project of website redevelopment and design, because that's where the real impact, that's where you guys can contribute personally, whether it's by sponsoring a student or by mentoring a student so that you can share your ideas and your stories so that you can inspire another person, or whether you can bring them on and guide them and give them the skills and lead them to a job so that they could go back and in turn change their lives and their families' lives. So thank you guys, and I'll let these guys take on and describe the project that we've been working on. Thank you.